episode of the Lisa Pezik Show. I am so excited today to dive into sales. I know. When you're sitting here, or if you're driving, or you're walking, or whatever you're doing, you probably went, you did one of two things. You went, sales, I got this. I know it's important. I'm good. I'm doing my thing, sister. Or you went, So this podcast is for both. Because as we evolve and we sharpen our skills, why wouldn't we want to make it easier, do it better? If you're the person that went, this is especially for you because sales is so dang important. It's like brushing your teeth in the morning. You would not forget to, well, maybe you forget to do that, but then the outcome with smelly breath all day isn't going to be so lovely, right? So you know it's important that you have to do it. Sales is the same. It's not negotiable because it's the lifeblood of your business. And I'm so honored today to have an expert in sales. Connie Whitman is here on the podcast. Connie, welcome.
Lisa, thanks so much for having me. You crack me up. Yes, we have to brush our teeth, and yes, we have to do sales. It's not a negotiation. It's like a must do, right?
There you go. So Connie and I are both moms. We are both business owners. So we gave you a mom tip, and now we gave you a business owner tip. Connie's from Jersey. She's got so much fire. She's got so much passion and 20 plus years of helping leaders and sales teams building powerful powerhouse organizations. And Connie's known for her high energy, passionate, heart-centered, and enthusiastic approach to sales and teaching. And Connie, you've been the CEO of Whitman Associates for 20 plus years, three-time international best-selling author of the book ESP, Easy Sales Process, 7 Steps to Sales Success. You are a speaker, podcast host, influencer, and I love that you teach transformational tools and content to ensure that business owners and salespeople grow their revenue streams through their enhanced communication skills. It is sales skills, but the heart of it is communication skills.
Yep.
And I had the honor to be on your podcast, The Heart-Centered Sales Leader and Enlightenment of Change. You have 2 weekly international podcasts, and I was honored to be on one of them, and so honored to have you here today doing this with me and my audience. So yay.
I hope everybody's ready for like super high energy, because Lisa and I, we're like ping pong. We go back and forth.
My
right, God. For sure. So yeah, we're definitely going to have some fun. Yeah.
I look forward to the day, Connie, when you and I are in the same room together.
Holy moly.
Look out.
Everybody's hair will curl.
Oh my goodness. So let's dive in, Connie. I mean, yeah, sales, people feel it's so icky, or am I doing it wrong? Or I'm doing it like someone told me to use this sales script and it just doesn't feel authentic to me. So
yep.
Where do they start if they have this icky feeling, or they've been trying it, it's not going good, and they don't know what the right next step is?
Yeah. And if your career wasn't in sales, so that you started out of college or out of high school and went right into sales, and then you start a business, right? No one should be selling your stuff. If you're the business owner, really should be your responsibility, because nobody is going to be as passionate and not be able to articulate, and no one's going to be able to get as excited, right, as you, because it's your baby, it's your business. So that's number one. Now, a couple of things that I want to unpack with that question. We are taught to think of sales as this sleazy, icky, pushy, in your face kind of thing, which is horrifying, because we are taught through movies like Wolf of Wall Street, Glengarry, whatever the other one is, Glengarry, but it was an insurance one. And the premise of that show is you should always be closing. Horrible, disgusting way to be. other thing is, as humans, through our lives, we've bought things, whether it's a car, a TV, programs for our business where we're trying to learn and educate ourselves, right? And the person, it's all hype, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and we're sold this thing. And then it's not what we thought we were buying. So we get what we call duped, right? We get tricked. So we've all been on the receiving end of that sleazy, icky pitch. And then when it's our turn as business owners, we're like, oh, I don't want to be sleazy or icky. The next thing you said that I want to unpack is, where do you start? And you mentioned scripts and stuff like that. So I've been in sales and service sales, meaning intangibles. So I was never like a copy salesman or a computer salesman. It was always financial, or now as a business owner, right? My services. So they're intangible, which is a little bit harder, but I think more impactful to the world, right? So how do we sell our service? How do we sell our business without that icky, sleazy kind of vibe, right? So the first thing you need to do is a business. If someone in sales says to you, well, you need my script, run the other way, because, and I tell this to people, like, my energy is high. I talk fast. I fire fast. Well, I have clients who they're not talking fast, and they're much more cerebral in how they think. So you mentioned the communication. Well, I have clients that communicate vastly different than I do. So if I say, oh, here's my script, use it, it works every time. Well, it works every time because of the way I communicate and put information out, and the energy I put out, and how I connect with the person in front of me. So run the other way. It should be your script. Now, with that said, do I give templates? Sure. Here's the flow of the conversation. Now let's figure out how you want to deliver and how you want that information to land with the client. So that, and this is another thing I always say when I do my workshops, and we're going to share at the end. I have a free workshop for you guys coming up, but in the workshop, I throw out the question, who's the secret sauce in sales? And everybody they put in the chat on Zoom, they go, you. And I always say, you meaning me or you meaning you? Yeah. They go, no, Connie. And I say, and you're all wrong. You're the secret sauce, because it's your, how you communicate, how you vibrate. What is your energy? How are you exchanging energy? And it does, when I say energy, it doesn't have to be high energy like Lisa and I. We all have a vibrational kind of flow to us, and the client, prospect, whoever is feeling that. So we have to tap into the buyer's communication style for us to really succeed. So you have to be you. You are the secret sauce. We could give you the tools to get there, but you are the magic in the equation.
And almost like it takes the pressure off of you of doing it right. Because when you're doing it authentic and you're doing it unique to you,
yep,
it's always right.
It's always right.
Where did that pressure, do you think that people know how important sales is? Or like, oh my God, this is what makes my business go. Like, why do we put so much pressure on ourselves or feel like a failure when someone says no? How do we get around that?
Great question. So here's the thing, and my ESP, and by the way, everybody, the book ESP, you do have to have ESP with your clients to some extent. Just mine is much easier because it's the easy sales process, right? So I did name the book specifically that way. And I actually have a brain. I have the head of a brain, again, for that ESP kind of vibe. I had someone design the book. Yeah, all intentional, right? So a little humor in that as well. But for me, when you understand the 7 steps is nothing more than the flow of the communication. The problem is we don't have the flow or the path of the conversation correct. So here's an example. First step is preparation. I have met people who, I don't know what sales is. I was referred to Lisa. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to tell Lisa how great my products or services are and why I got into business. I'm just going to share because I'm so great. And they go and they vomit information. There's no preparation. There's no thought. What happens is right out of the gate, you've shot yourself in the foot because the person's thinking, are they going to come up for air and ask me a question? Don't they need to know my situation? So we make it about us because we think what we're selling is so amazing, which, by the way, you need to think. But out of the gate, being prepared. You go in thinking, I need to pause and understand the customer. Then I could share how great what I do is. So it's just kind of flipping the script. Okay. That's number one. Number two, because people think sales, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I'm afraid. What if I stink at it? Whatever. I have to make that phone call. I have to send that email. I'll do it tomorrow. So we procrastinate the sale and we find busy work to do. And here's the danger. And I really want everybody to listen to this. If you put sales off, you're leaving so much money on the table and you're slowing your momentum of financial success and whatever that means to you. That doesn't mean you have to make $1 bazillion. That's not who I am. Money doesn't motivate me. Serving my client motivates me. And here's the thing, in my 39 years, what I have found, when you really put the client first, they give back to you exponentially. Can I share a really quick story?
Of course.
When I first started in sales, it was 39 years ago. And I was selling insurance. Okay. So I went and I got my Series 7 license. I'm in the United States, and all my life, health, all of those insurance licenses. I sat with my first client alone after your sales manager lets you go off on your own. And it was a young couple. They had 2 little girls, and he was a blue collar worker. He was a mason or a builder or something. She was a stay-at-home mom. So their income was limited. And he knew if something happened to him, the family would be out on the street. So he needed life insurance. That's what he kept saying to me. So what I did is I said, okay, let's take a breath. Let's take a step back. You don't have enough money to put food on the table on a regular basis. They were struggling financially. I could sell you the insurance and you can pay 6 months from now, $600 or whatever it would be, cumulative, right? Those monthly payments, let's say they're $100 a month. 6 months from now, you're going to throw that $600 away. The policy is going to lapse. Now you threw that money away and you still don't have the insurance. This is crazy. So let's breathe. And what I did is I started, now I'm blessed, right? I had all these licenses. I have an MBA in finance. So I felt like I am so blessed with all of this education and knowledge. My responsibility is to serve, right? Is to teach people. So what I did is I taught, and it was funny because the other thing people said, oh, you talk to the wife? And I think, oh my goodness, if I only talk to the husband, the wife is never going to understand the financial budget part of it. If something happens to him, they're still going to be in financial distress. So what I would do with that client, I worked with them 6 months, got them on a budget, had money in the bank, able to afford the insurance premium. Meanwhile, the wife took more interest in understanding the financial aspect of the household, right? 6 months later, we've got the insurance. So here's what happened during that 6 months where I met with them. Did I make any money? Nope. Did I get paid for that time? Nope. I was on full commission. Was it the right thing to do? Yes. And again, I felt it was my responsibility to teach these people who were less fortunate than I, right? Fast forward, who became my best referrers? So I made so much money from that 6 months that didn't get paid a dime. I made thousands of dollars later on because I did the right thing. So you build a reputation. But here's the thing I'm passionate about. At that time, it was financial, right? I was passionate about people understanding money so that they can have a future, they can thrive, they can leave legacies, right? That was my passion. Well, now it's just my business is my passion. But now I'm passionate about teaching people how to sell. It's the same concept. So you can have money and build your legacy for whatever that means to you. Does that make sense, Lise?
Oh, I just love that take-home message of do the right thing, because I'm sure we've talked about this, Connie, before we even got on this podcast like a couple of weeks ago about we're not afraid to lovingly turn people away. Like 100%. Every call doesn't have to end in the sale.
Correct.
Every call has to end in what's best for the client or the customer.
Yep.
Right? The same. There are times when they're like, we want lead generation. And we're like, it's not going to work because X, Y, and Z isn't right yet.
That's right.
We can help you do X, Y, and Z. Or if you want to go, if you have a team already, go do X, Y, and Z, then come back to us.
That's right.
And then we're going to have success together. So
that's right.
Not always about pain point marketing and twisting the knife and fake urgency and just all of that. Or like, I'm a failure if I go into this meeting and I don't get the sale. It's not always about, that's not the marker of success, that you can't say, well, however many sales I get means I'm doing it right. It's not about that. It's about long-term relationship building. And I love how that story nailed it home. And then of course you're not icky when you care about the person and you're like, here's what you need. So it's like, don't be afraid to play the long game and realize that you're always looking at what's best for that person, right?
Think about that, Lisa, what you just said. You have to think about the long game, because if you're, especially a business owner, even if it's a side hustle right now, your side hustle, you're hoping becomes your full-time job at some point when you have enough money in the bank. Do things smart, right? Don't quit your job because you have a dream. Yeah. You still have bills to pay, right? Like let's be logical about this, right?
Yes.
But the end game, it's always about the end game. So like, for instance, my business, I am trying to, my kids are 21 and 24. They just graduated. And I never, ever said to them, take over my business. That's what I'm building it for. It was find your dream, find your passion. Well, now as they're graduating and they're working and they're out there and they see what I'm doing and how much I love my business. And my one son just graduated with a marketing degree. So he used me, he had to work on a year-long project in college. And he said, Mom, can I use you? And I'm like, yes. So he came up with these great ideas and strategies. And I thought I could include that in my marketing campaigns and whatnot. Well, now they're taking an interest. So I said, if you guys want the next 10 years, let's build it out. So I could create a legacy business. That was never my thought, right? I thought someday I'll either sell it or I die and the business dies, whatever, right? It's paying the bills and I'm putting money in the bank and I'm going to have a nice retirement. It was serving my purposes. Now it's shifting. So I thought I have 10 more good years in me, right? I'm going to be 60 this year. I'm like, 70. I have 10 good years. I can build a legacy business now, but I have the things in place that I can easily do that. So you have to play the long game. It's not about, I need to make the sale today. And here's another thing, beware. When you go in desperate to make that sale, that's not a place you want to come from. And that's why, I started with preparing, right? You have to be prepared for the conversation. You have to be prepared in all aspects of your life. So you have to make sure that your marketing is solid. Your messaging is solid, right? That if you have somebody land on a landing page, the landing page is working. All of that is important too. But you have to get in front of people and tell them your story, like I'm doing right now, like Lisa does, right? Every time she was on my podcast, she told her story. We're trying to exchange our clients because we trust each other. And that's another big piece of the puzzle. I only work with and deal with and partner with people that I trust because, oh, by the way, 39 years, I've built a great reputation out there. I will never allow anyone to tarnish that because I'm trusted. I want people to trust me because I am heart-centered. I will never, and I just want to go back what Lisa was saying, and I want to make sure this is clear. When you have that sales conversation and at the end, 3 things should happen. And this is what Lisa was alluding to. 1, the client is, holy moly, like, where have you been my whole life? How fast can we get this going? They're excited. They're resonating. It's a what I call the dead hit, right? You're a perfect match. It's like a match made in heaven. Second thing happens. You say to the client, you're not ready for me yet. Exactly Lisa's example before. Let's work on, or you get your team to do this, this, and this, and I'll help you with that. I'm not getting paid, but I'll help you with that. Right thing to do, responsibility. Remember what I said with my story. Then the shift is, okay, now you're ready for me a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now. So 1, client is ready to rock and roll. 2, you're not ready for me yet. And here's why. Or the third one is, I'm not the right person or vendor for you or option. You need to meet my friend, Lisa. This is really where you need to be. A year from now, you'll need me. But right now, you need to work with Lisa. So you do a referral. Notice I didn't say get an objection. So when you get the objection, oh, the timing's not right. Oh, I don't have the money. I'm telling you, in my 7-step process, you will clearly be able to figure out in those first 5 steps where you have a deficit in your communication. And that those first 6 steps are all about the communication piece. Step 7 is the follow-up. And that's another whole story. We could do a whole show on follow-up. Yeah.
It's like the sales, the easy part when you've done the other 6 steps and you've done the communication and the work. It's like deconstructing.
Absolutely.
All of that. And that's the piece that nobody's been taught.
Nope.
We've been taught everyone's a prospect. You're selling all the time. if you don't know how to sell, your business is going to go under. Like there's all this pressure.
Can I tell you, the most fun part of being a business owner is the sales. Because guess what sales is? Talking to people, supporting people, right? Lisa and I met through a networking group that we belong to. Somehow we got connected, whether we looked at the profiles on the platform of the networking group, and you kind of mind and think, who's resonating with me? I'd like to partner with people so that maybe we work on a project together and create something really cool. Or maybe their people go through them, and then I'd be a great addition to whatever their offer is, or vice versa. People like what Lisa does. When I see people with bad marketing, right, I could say, okay, listen, we could still work on the sales piece of it, but you really need to get your marketing in order. Let's talk to Lisa. I could bring in my expert to help you with that. So you build your team of referral partners. And then what happens, the tide rises, you're finding your people that are heart-centered. You have to be heart-centered to work with me, or I want nothing to do with you, right? So as soon as you find your peeps, your team, so to speak, even though we all have different businesses, as the tide rises, we're supporting and helping each other. But you have to earn that. You have to become really good at, and you have to be able to sell your business. Otherwise, why would we partner with you if you can't even get out of your own way? We can never help you, because I could send business to you, but you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? So again, tides rise together. You have to perfect these skills, but take the pressure off. Be yourself. Be passionate about your product and knowledgeable, obviously, but what does that communication path look like?
I love that you bring that up too. And again, it's not what's hitting home for me in this podcast is that like, it's not always about that end marker and knowing like what to do right away. Cause even with you, Connie, again, have to be heart-centered, had an instant connection with you right away, know how much my people need you. And in the Dames, which is the networking group connection that we're in, as I'm growing this chapter here in Southern Ontario, what I'm realizing in the 70 plus conversations that I've had, women are not, so a qualifier of the Dames is you have to be operating a 6 and 7 figure business, C-suite, like a leader, making 6 figures plus. So many women here in Southern Ontario are not making 6 figures. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm meeting these beautiful, heart-centered, passionate, intelligent, incredible, I want you in my tribe women, and they don't hit the income mark. And I'm like, whoa. And someone described it to me as they're like, it's the Canadian poppy syndrome. So a poppy is the flower that's like our national.
Yeah.
Sorry, Canadians, if I'm not saying this right, but they're like, they're too nice. They're too passive. So I love how in the beginning you talked about it's, the preparation, but you can't procrastinate. So women I find here are procrastinating until it becomes, as you said, the fear, or they're just, I don't want to be known as a jerk. I'm nice. I'm this, I'm not icky. Then they're not prepared. They don't know this communication. Then they're trying to sell out of desperation and they're not getting the result that they want. So for you, it's like, I got to bring you in with these women, these 70 plus women.
Yes.
I didn't know that right off the hop when I met you, but I went, whoa, okay. I didn't know there was this issue in Southern Ontario. I got to go to Connie. I know the exact relationship that I built. I know the exact referral person. Like you said, whether we're going to build something together, I'm going to send people to you. When you know people and you do the work, when there's a problem that's identified, if you don't have the solution, you know somebody you can go to that has
it. And I think, Lisa, you and I talked about maybe doing a workshop to try to get them on the path. And here's just the reality, guys. Here's the reality. Earning 6 figures is really not hard. I know if you're not making 6 figures, you're like, this chick's out of her mind. I'm telling you, earning 6 figures is not hard once you really get in your zone, right? Really, really articulate perfectly. Network, because networking is a big piece of it, right? Networking in the correct way. So example, Lisa just found this population of brilliant, heart-centered, wonderful women that are needed in the world. Their services or products are needed in the world, and they're not out there. That is horrible to me because they're needed. It's their responsibility. I'll go back to that. So Lisa and I do think we should do a workshop, because a free workshop, right?
Yeah.
To get people some skills. And here's another thing. I'll just share one more quick story. So I have I'm doing a free workshop. We're going to give you that information. You'll learn so many things from it, right? And it's free. So just come and play. Then at the end, I make an offer. Some people are going to love the offer. Some people are not going to be ready for it. That's okay. Come and learn anyway. It's free information, right? I offer a 10-week masterclass, and you get one-on-one coaching for me. I'm very hands-on because I'm just very hands-on. That's just how I feel I coach best and how I can really help people. So one of my students, friends now, and that's the other thing, you become my friends when you become a client. You're stuck with me. It is what it is. So just deal with it, right? Anyway, we were 3 weeks in, and she had bought a very expensive sales program, but it was always be selling, always be closing. You should have a minimum of $25,000 offer. And I'm thinking, that's the most crazy thing I've ever heard. She followed me for a year on my podcast, loved me. Every time I said something, she's like, oh my God, I could use that. That feels so good. Fast forward, she buys my program. 3 weeks in, she says to me, I've made more money in this past 3 weeks than I have made all year.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And she goes, one simple thing. You told me you were going to do it, and you did it. My whole mindset has shifted as to what sales is and should be. And I'm so much more comfortable now with the conversation. We're 3 weeks in, not 10 weeks in. Yes. She made back the investment of my program, plus she's going on vacation in August. So, you see, and again, not only did she pay her bills more easily, now she even put money away in less than 10 weeks, paid for the program, plus put money in the bank for vacation. So as soon as you have, but that's a big piece of it too, right, Lisa? That mindset shift. She was in her own head. All I did was gave her the tools. I dug in. I challenged her. Why do you have that? Because that's what I was told to do. Well, I don't agree with that. Let's break it down. Maybe you make it into 3 programs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. You have to get out of your own head too. You just need the tools to figure that out. That's
what I was going to say. Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems, or like maybe not problems the right word, but roadblock that women have, or people, entrepreneurs have, is they don't ask for help. Like, I was talking to a woman who was going to join the Dames, and she was like, oh, you're just, Lisa, you're just such a go-getter. She's like, I could never do what you do. And plus, like, just the idea of like, doing a business like alone, like the entrepreneurial thing alone. She's like, that just doesn't appeal to me. And I'm like, okay, first off, like, anybody can be a go-getter. Second off, I said, what makes you think that being an entrepreneur means you have to do things alone? I'm like, I don't do anything alone. I'm like, I have a team, I have mentors, I have communities, I have referral partners.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm like, there's absolutely, if you're trying to go at this alone, you're just making it harder on yourself.
You are.
So if you're a person going, damn, I just don't know how to do sales, well, then you go and get with Connie. I don't know how to do the marketing and the Facebook ads and the website. Well, then you go and you get with me. Like, that's why you get help, right? You don't suffer in silence.
And I just want to comment on that. So then they go, but I don't have the money. So here's my other thing. If you're messaging, and by the way, I've hired people to help me with my messaging. That is not my zone of genius. Thank you very much. I don't want to do it. I don't know how to do it. I had to outsource it, right? Yeah. So, but then people go, well, that costs money. That's true. It did. Budget it in, figure it out. But here's the flip side. By doing that, I've made more money because as your messaging, when you hire Lisa, right? The messaging is super clear. The right people are going to find you. Then you work, let's say with me, no pressure ever, never pressure with me, but you work with me. I help you on that whole communication process, find your secret sauce within you. I just give you the tools to get there, right? So there's a bridge and we go over the bridge and we build the plank of the bridge one by one, right? To get you to the other side. So the idea is like my one student, yes, she put the money out. Within 3 weeks, she made it back plus. So you can't look at it as an expense. Really, really, when you're educating yourself or helping yourself, that to me is not a cost. That's an investment. Because, and it's funny, I had a meeting with her yesterday. We're doing one-on-one coaching now, which is not cheap, but she knows. She said, Connie, within the first 2 months. I'm going to make back what I'm paying you. I'm going to make it back. Plus, I want to take even a better vacation next year. We'll see. But see, she's already changed her mindset. This isn't a cost. This is an investment. And I was giggling. I go, I know 10 years from now, you're going to have made $20 million off of what I'm going to teach you in this year. She goes, yeah, baby. And I said, think of all the things we could do out in the world, right? Help poverty, help kids. And we were like dreaming, what are we going to do when she makes her millions, right? So again, the investment is small for the trajectory of what you can have. But if your messaging with Lisa isn't right, then your the sales will never come to be, because you're sending them to a place that they're looking, going, but that's not what Connie told me. What is this on the website? You create confusion, and that's dangerous too.
Amen. You need all of it. You need
all of it.
You need the inbound, you need the outbound, you need all of it. You need to be able to close in a way that feels great to you with the right people. And back to the investment, I always say you may be paying me. Yes. Like you're paying me to help you.
Yeah.
But you're not really investing in me. You're reinvesting in you.
That's right. And the business.
Like I know on my end, I'm going to deliver exactly what you need. I'm going to deliver. If we're going to work together, I'm going to hold to my end of the bargain. So really, if you're worried about, I don't have the money, I don't know if this is going to work, what's going to be my ROI, I always say you got to have that internal gut check with yourself.
Yes.
Because you're not saying yes to me, you're saying yes to you.
Yes.
Your ability to carry that out. We're going to do our part to help you along the way. It's that piece back to you, right?
Yeah. And I just want to comment. I know we're almost out of time, but 2 things with what Lisa just said. Go with your gut. Everybody's not going to want to work with me. And I honor that. I don't feel bad. It's not personal. I just, the way I teach you, you're not going to learn. That's okay. But find someone who can, that you will resonate with from a coaching or a mentoring kind of vibe, right? The same thing. Everybody isn't going to vibe with Lisa and her husband. That's okay. Yeah. But the point is, you do need to do these things. So find someone who resonates. So gut check all the time. I listen to my gut. It steers me when people feel off. That I call it the unconscious conversation. We all meet the icky people. We don't know why, but something's off. You don't want to work with someone like that. And that has served me well. And then like Lisa and I met, and you told me about the 70 women and not making 6 figures. I said, no, that's unconscionable. We got to do something, right? Lisa and I immediately started brainstorming. How can we serve them? What can we do? Not how can we make money from these people? That was never. It was, we have to help these people. That's ridiculous. They're brilliant. Let's bring their voice to the market, right? So again, the gut is important. Lisa just resonated with me on that conversation. And then the second thing is, look at the long game, right? So check your gut. Don't be afraid to look at or expect the return on the investment. And one other piece of advice, if people say, like I have a process, through my process in my coaching program, everybody is treated differently. And I don't mean differently personality wise, but you all have a different need. I am not a cookie cutter person. So if you feel, no, I want the one and done, that you have the answer for me, everybody's looking for the magic pill. So that's another thing I caution you. If it's a cookie cutter, my way is the right way with sales. Run the other way, guys. That's where you're throwing, like my one student, now friend, she spent a lot of money, and it made her feel even worse about sales. So just the gut check, but it's an investment in you, but make sure that it's not cookie cutter. You're the secret sauce, not the program. So just please remember that. That's real important.
Amen. And you've got something coming up for them, that free gift. Tell them about the workshop.
I do. So, two things. So 2 things, Lisa. I have a free communication style assessment, free. And Lisa's going to put the link in the show notes. You get 2 reports. One, it's going to tell you your natural superpower from how you communicate and how people perceive you. So you get a report on the superpowers. I also believe, and then it scales it. There's 5 different behavioral styles. So really quick, 20% of the time we're talking with people like us. Cool. 80% of the time, You're talking to people different than you. That's where the sales process is important, because it's that 8 out of 10 people you're talking to. You need to understand their buying style. So I also give you a report on the lowest style, which is usually our blind spots. That's where we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So it's a free gift to you. Additionally, take that free CSA. And Lisa's going to I have a free workshop the end of July, early August. It's a 90-minute hands-on. We're going to get in and play. If you take the CSA, and you can email me, Con, I took the CSA. I'm going to put several people in my Petri dish, and I'm going to try to coach in about 20, 25 minutes of the 90 minutes. I'm going to coach people one-on-one, where I'm going to look at your communication style and tell you, here's your strength, build on that. Beware of, and I'm going to give you some real hands-on action steps to do. So come and play. I love coaching. It's my thing. So yeah, if the 2 gifts, again, all free, come and play, get to know me. And then down the road, maybe you'll come and become part of my family, which I would love.
That. I love that. I always say, when we know better, we do better, and you're giving them the tools to know better. So, and that live coaching is just free. Live coaching is just priceless, right? Like that's just that is game changing. One little tip, one little tweak, one little thing is just game changing. So yes, as Connie said, I've got her website, her email, the free gift, the workshop, all her social links. I will absolutely put everything in the show notes there as a resource.
Cool.
Because Connie is somebody that you absolutely want in your back pocket to help you get all the things in business and do the good, be seen, be out there, and feel really good about what you're putting out into the world and who you're helping. So
yeah, come and play, guys, and follow me, stalk me. I love it. And if it's not right this year, there's always, again, it's the long game. And I really, really do love what I do. And I will force you. No, I'm teasing. You will walk away loving your business even more, because you will make the money that you should be making, but you're going to be serving at such a higher level. And guys, we really are in this together. We need to make this world magical again, because we're all kind of crazy right now. So yeah, let's band together and change the world. And that's part of my mission in life. So yeah, come play.
Awesome. Connie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Lisa. I love hanging out with your girlfriend. Love you all. Mwah. Big kisses out there.
And listeners, thank you for tuning in. Go back to this, use it as a resource, get connected to Connie. There's so many places and things that you could be putting your time and energy to. So thank you for dialing in here with us today. It's our pleasure to serve you. And we'll see you again next time on The Lisa Pezik Show.